The quiet struggle behind the automatic yes. Ever feel that little pang when someone asks a favor, and before you even think it through, your brain yells, "No!" but your mouth blurts, "Yes." It's like you're living on autopilot, agreeing to everything while a part of you silently protests. Why is no such a hard word? We've all been there. A friend shoots you a midnight text. "Can you help me move on Saturday?" Your boss just emailed about overtime on the weekend. Your neighbor says, "Mind watching my baby for an hour?" And bam, out comes the polite, "Sure, of course," even though inside, your stomach does a flip. It almost feels involuntary. You might cringe and think, "What did I just say?" But refusing feels like walking a tightrope. Our brains are wired to belong. Psychologists note saying no is linked to guilt and fear of rejection. We evolved to seek connection and avoid being shunned. So when a chance comes up to keep the peace, our default reflex is yes. Saying yes feels safe. Saying no can trigger the ancient alarm that danger is ahead. Refusing can indeed feel risky. Imagine saying no and seeing a warning sign flash in your mind. Danger. You might think, "No, I should not upset them," as if that one syllable could spark conflict. Perhaps as a child, that word "no" once got you into trouble or in tears. Now, every time you're asked something, your brain checks. Is this person about to be upset? If the signal is green, the handshake "yep" comes out. If red, you find yourself scrambling to agree. It's conditioning at work. Even in professional settings, the pattern repeats. Think about work projects and co-workers. You might never refuse a request for help, even at the cost of overtime or personal time. Why? Partly because you don't want to be labeled difficult, and partly because the idea of conflict at work triggers anxiety. In short, your mind is playing offense against conflict. It says, better 100 polite yeses than one uncomfortable truth. Now, let's peel back another layer. Childhood and attachment styles are big influences. If you grew up with conditional love, you learned early on that pleasing others equals security. For example, many with anxious attachment develop a core belief: if I keep everyone else happy, I will be loved. Therapists describe that tendency starkly. You become willing to do whatever it takes to keep the other person around, even denying your own needs. Kids like this often feel their worth is tied to how agreeable they can be. Your motto becomes, don't disappoint, don't upset, just please. Even if you appear independent on the outside, these patterns can stay under the hood. Some avoidant people might hate conflict so much that they ironically go along with requests to prevent any tension. Disorganized folks might oscillate between desperate peacemaking and anxious snapback. But either way, saying yes feels safer than refusing. In short, our childhood scripts often handed us an overenthusiastic yes as the ticket to belonging. This people-pleasing tendency is even formalized in trauma psychology. It's called the fawn response. When the brain senses danger or chaos, even from emotional wounds, it might switch into appease mode. Imagine a survivor of childhood trauma who learned that smiling or doing what the abuser wants would keep them safe. Pete Walker, a trauma specialist, describes fawning as becoming more appealing to the threat. It's basically the psychological equivalent of curling up and saying, "Please, don't hurt me." So if you're someone who struggles with saying no, you may have been unconsciously protecting yourself. Refusal can feel like defiance to the brain, and in some early experiences, defiance was dangerous. Fawning can become a deeply ingrained habit. You show up with gifts, help too much, agree enthusiastically, hoping to tame whatever fear is inside. This isn't just theory. Studies of trauma and codependency show exactly this pattern. In shame-based family environments, kids learn to be the peacekeepers to avoid parental anger. Basically, you were taught, be the golden child or don't exist. Over time, that golden child reflex survived into adulthood, making no feel like the unthinkable move. But it's not just personal history. Our broader culture puts a halo on helpfulness. Social norms often applaud being nice and rarely defend assertiveness. A psychologist observed that in some cultures and social groups, there's a strong emphasis on being accommodating and self-sacrificing. You might remember times being told, "Be a good girl, boy, and help out," or hearing phrases like, "Nice guys finish last." It's as if the script says, "Agree and you'll be loved." Gender plays a role too. Many experts say women especially get this message loud and clear. Qualities like modesty and selflessness are rewarded more than blunt honesty. Research indicates that people-pleasing is often fueled by gender norms, telling women to devalue their own ideas in favor of others. But let's be clear, men feel it too. Anyone who's been afraid to stand up will relate. Even smaller social units set the tone. Maybe your family, your circle of friends or colleagues praise the helpers and quietly resent the refusers. If the phrase "nice guy" or "team player" was often used in your group, chances are you felt pressured to live up to it. It's a subtle training. Saying no could feel like flunking a class in nice behavior. In many ways, life rewards the helper. The helper gets pats on the back. The refuser gets a scowl or confusion. And after a while, you buy in. Why break the habit when "be nice" feels like the only path offered to you? In some cultures, the pressure is even stronger. For instance, research notes that in collectivist societies like China, pleasing others is considered a pro-social skill and a mark of harmony. People-pleasing in such contexts can help you climb social and work ladders. But even there, students who seldom say no report feeling heavy stress, inferiority, and stunted personal growth. Let's talk traits and beliefs. Some people are simply more agreeable by nature. If you scored high on agreeableness and conscientiousness, you might be wired to care deeply and do what's asked. Sometimes these good qualities tip too far. Being overly kind and responsible means you automatically overcommit. Add in anxiety or perfectionism, the belief, "I must never disappoint." And you have a perfect formula for chronic yes. Ever catch yourself thinking, "I'd be a failure if I said no"? That's the perfectionist, people-pleaser mindset talking. It's like carrying a golden statue that must stay polished at all times, even your own boundaries. Or maybe you just like pleasing people. If your identity got tied up in being the helper, you might really believe that if you stop helping, you lose part of yourself. But that's a heavy price to pay. Psychologically, people-pleasers often experience something called cognitive dissonance. Say you value your evening to unwind, but always answer yes to coworkers dropping extra work on you. Your values clash with your actions. This dissonance feels awful. You might end up resentful, exhausted, or even doubting yourself. However, the flip side is powerful. Research shows that saying no when it aligns with your values restores integrity and builds confidence. Suddenly your actions and beliefs match up, and you feel more in control of your life. In short, the default yes has many authors. Your natural personality, your internalized rules, and a bit of anxious biology all nudging you to agree. But they're just pieces of the puzzle, pieces we can reshuffle. Let's face it, all those automatic yeses carry a price. Imagine juggling too many plates, each one labeled favor, extra task, help, trying not to drop any. Eventually something crashes. On a personal level, chronic yes people often burn out. Scientific profiles of people-pleasing show links to anxiety, emotional exhaustion, even clinical depression. One study said exactly that. The more you please, the more your mental health can suffer. Your body hates overcommitment too. If you're always running on stress mode, your immune system gets weak, you sleep poorly, maybe you get headaches or stomach issues. It's as if your internal warning light is blinking overload. Emotionally, you might feel hidden resentment. Every no you swallow is a tiny act of self-betrayal, and those pile up. Therapists describe it as a slow erosion of self-esteem. It even creates a blurred identity because you can't remember what you really want. You could easily lie awake replaying interactions, worrying if you annoyed someone or questioning why you never said no. One piece of advice in therapy is, People pleasing can leave you feeling like you've got no personal boundaries or desires left at all. Relationships can strain under this too. At first, your chronic yes might make you seem saintly, always there, always helpful. But then weird dynamics pop up. Some partners or friends might actually get frustrated thinking, okay, I get it, you love them more than me. Others simply fall into complacency, expecting you to agree to anything, which itself can feel smothering. Research finds that suppressing your own needs often breeds anxiety in couples. You might end up feeling unheard or neglected, and ironically, feeling resentment toward the very people you're trying to please. Your career can even suffer. Bosses might learn to dump unwanted tasks on you, thinking you'll just say yes. Promotions might skip you because you never speak up or take credit for what you do want to do. Basically, staying in yes mode can stall your growth in any arena. Physically, the toll is real too. Chronic stress from saying yes to everything has real health consequences. On top of exhausted adrenal glands, you risk conditions like heart problems or immune issues over time. Emotional fatigue can turn into chronic fatigue syndrome in extreme cases. Imagine always running on adrenaline and guilt. Yes, silent stress can eventually scream in your body. Then there's authenticity. When did you last do something just because you wanted to? People pleasers can lose touch with their true selves. One therapist calls this the vanishing self phenomenon. You exist mainly through others' reflections. It sounds dark, but it's revocable. Realizing this can actually be empowering. If you can get lost, you can also find your way back by saying what you really want. So, how do we break the cycle? First, awareness. Become a mindful pleaser. Notice when you say yes automatically. Gina Ryder suggests, catch yourself before you answer. Take a breath and think about what you really want. Even mentally inserting a maybe before committing gives you space to choose. This pause alone can be a tiny revolution. Second, practice small refusals. Polish your no-saying muscle on low stakes. Turn down that drink refill. Skip helping a stranger when you're tired. Each little no builds confidence for the bigger ones. Use language tricks. One recommended change is framing refusals with I don't instead of I can't. That slight shift, saying I don't have time rather than I'm sorry I can't, puts the choice on you. It's no more complicated than subtle PR. Thank you for thinking of me, but I must say no. It's firm, not aggressive. Set clear boundaries and communicate them calmly. If needed, say no only once. In psychology terms, assertiveness is key. Assertiveness means stating needs directly but politely, not apologizing for them. Your refusal doesn't have to be a full lecture. A simple, I wish I could, but I have to pass this time, often suffices. Consider the saying, no is a complete sentence. You don't have to make excuses or over-apologize. However, you can use a courtesy sandwich. I appreciate you asking, but I have to pass. Thanks for understanding. This soothes any sting and makes clear you're not rejecting the person, just the request. Watch how others do it. Chances are most of the people you know say no sometimes, and it's not a big deal. Maybe they say, sorry, I can't make it to a party, and life goes on. Observing that builds courage. Crucially, understand, every no has a positive side. Psych research agrees that saying no frees up time and energy for things you truly value. It strengthens your sense of integrity and self-respect. It even brings mental calm. One guide notes that learning to say no can reduce stress and increase self-esteem. In fact, refusing wisely means you get to do more of what truly matters to you, not just urgent favors for others. If you slip, everyone does. Don't beat yourself up. Changing a lifetime habit takes time. Just notice it and resolve to try again next time. You might also want help. Therapy and assertiveness training can be invaluable. For example, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can challenge the thought, I must say yes to be liked, and replace it with reality. No is okay. Dialectical behavior. Therapy, DBT, teaches you to tolerate the discomfort of saying no and to value your own needs. Family systems therapy, Bowenian theory, even works on helping you differentiate yourself, making your choices based on your values, not just others' approvals. Bottom line, boundaries aren't selfish, they're self-respect. By giving yourself permission to decline, you're actually giving yourself more permission to live a balanced life. Practical example time. Say your friend texts on Saturday morning, "Hey, last minute hike today. Wanna come?" Your inner voice is screaming, "No way, I wanna sleep." Before blurting, "Yes," pause. You might reply, "Thanks for asking, but I'm gonna sit this one out." See? Honest and kind. Your friend is probably fine with it and you just saved your day. Or imagine your boss asks for a favor outside work hours. Instead of nodding your head off, you could say, "I appreciate you thinking of me, but I have plans tonight." You don't need to invent a story, just set the boundary gently. Often people will understand and not hold it against you. The key is practice. Treat no like a new word you're learning. At first it may be awkward, but with every use it gets easier. Keep a few go-to phrases in mind. "I'm sorry, I can't." "Thank you, but I must decline." "I wish I could, but I'm not able to." These simple lines let you express yourself without guilt. In those first tries, your voice might shake or your brain might guilt trip you. That's normal. It passes. Most of the time, people are more understanding than you give them credit for. Some might be surprised at first, but they'll respect you for being honest. Let's revisit some research to cap this off. Therapists emphasize that self-care and saying no go hand in hand. In fact, one practical guide puts it bluntly. Saying no is not a personal attack on others, but an act of self-care. Each boundary you set is basically saying yes to your own well-being. Over time, these small changes can have big rewards. Recall the study. Every time you say no to overload, you free up space for what truly matters. In the big picture, your no's become the yeses to your values. It's a form of quiet rebellion against burnout. So, no. Setting boundaries isn't selfish or mean, it's necessary. When you get comfortable with that two-letter word, you move toward better mental health, authenticity, and real balance. You might notice you're more present with the people and projects you did say yes to, because you're not stretched so thin. Every journey starts with one step. Try saying one small no today. Even if it feels awkward, it's a sign of a growth. The next time a request pops up, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my yes? It could be the breakthrough you didn't know you needed. What do you think? Ever been trapped in yes syndrome? Drop a comment below. If this resonated, give it a like and subscribe for more psychology deep dives. And if you found this helpful, consider hitting subscribe. It's one of the few yeses in life that isn't hard to justify. Your no is valid. After all, sometimes the best yes you give is to yourself. Thanks for sticking around. Now go forth, say no, and be proud. You've got that power in your hands. Take it. Think of it this way. Each time you say no to something that drains you, you're saying yes to something more important. Your well-being, your time, or your passion. It's like tiny victories. They add up. One gentle reminder. Your life needs as many boundaries as others' lives do. Mastering the art of refusal might just be the best favor you give yourself. A final thought. Try saying one small no today. It might surprise you how freeing it feels. Over time, you may find it as easy as saying yes. You've got that power in your hands. Take it. And if you found this helpful, consider hitting subscribe. It's one of the few yes actions that feels great. You don't have to carry the weight of the world. Saying no might just be the lightest thing you can do. Yes to rest, yes to clarity, yes to you. Go on, give yourself permission to say no. It might make life a lot sweeter. Remember, you deserve the same kindness from yourself that you give others. Treat yourself with respect. After all, Even your own brain can learn a new reflex. It's called growth. Try it. Take a deep breath and say, "No," out loud. It's your word. It's small, but powerful. You've got this.